Doc Samson. History of a super shrink. It's not easy being a superhero in today's modern world. The stresses, the strains, and what with secret identities and all that. So who can you turn to when you need to talk? Why, the superhero community's very own superpowered psychiatrist, Doc Samson, of course. But that's not to say he solves everything with a leather couch and therapy session. No. Sometimes he has to punch things too. And if you're a patient, that's extra. Let's analyse the man known as Leonard Samson. Leonard Samson was a college professor and psychiatrist who had it all. He scuba dived, fenced, and gave important lectures. Men of action despised intellectual wusses like him. So when Betty Ross, daughter of General Thunderbolt Ross and ex-girlfriend to Bruce Banner, was turned to crystal after a blood transfusion from the Sandman, it was particularly galling to find out that Samson had a machine that would siphon off gamma energy from the Hulk to cure Betty. As a side effect, the gamma-drained Banner would also be free of the Hulk. Of course, Samson was left with a big machine full of hulkified energy, and surely no one would miss a little bit, would they? The funny thing about gamma energy is that the transformations always have some sort of psychological factor. As Samson himself said, with a gamma being, you can judge a book by its cover, as its physical appearance is a manifestation of all its inner desires. There was the repressed Bruce Banner, who found a muscle-bound outlet for his rage in the Hulk. There was the megalomaniac leader, whose head and brain got supersized, and there was the bitter, twisted Emil Blonsky, who became the outwardly pug-ugly abomination. What would the gamma-irradiated wheel of fate have in store for the good doctor? Well, apart from putting on a few pounds of extra muscle, the only noticeable change was his now flowing emerald green locks. Of all the jammy transformations, Samson got off more lightly than most who tinkered with the gamma. Samson's new physique, and let's face it, the fact that he saved her life, left Betty Ross a little smitten with the new Doc Samson, a feeling Bruce Banner definitely didn't share. How could he compete with a hunk like that? Realising that Samson was using power stolen from him to win Betty over, Banner did the only thing he could. Well, there were probably other options on the table, but buying flowers for the girl you love doesn't sell comics. He turned the gamma ray on himself and became the Hulk once more, in order to battle gamma-buffed Samson. Samson's ego was more than a little bruised when the Hulk beat him down and escaped. But Samson still got the girl, so hey, result. To celebrate, he had a haircut, only to find out that cutting his hair also cut his power. Well, with a name like Samson, what did he expect? A while later, Samson lost his powers completely after absorbing a blast meant for the Hulk. But luckily regained his strength when he was bombarded with intensive radiation from an exploding Gammatron. Yay! Gammaed up again and driven by guilt over the whole Betty Ross affair, Samson joined the staff at Gamma Base and made it his mission in life to cure the Hulk. After they'd invested in a heavy-duty reinforced psychiatrist couch for him, he succeeded in diagnosing Banner with a multiple personality disorder. Perhaps successful therapy could successfully integrate the Banner and Hulk personalities back together. If only the damned Hulk didn't keep escaping and going on a rampage, which obviously put a little bit of a kink into Samson's treatment schedule. While presenting a paper at a conference, Gamma Therapy for the Mentally Ill, which sounds like a recipe for disaster, if not a malpractice suit, he ran into an old flame, Delia Delilah Childress. She turned out to be working for the evil organization AIM, and sought to duplicate his powers for their own ends. With Spider-Man on hand to help, Samson managed to foil her not-so-subtle plan by pushing over the positively biblical power-draining columns. Shortly after, the government cut funding for Gamma Base, and it looked like Samson was out of a job, especially as a new intelligent Hulk personality had emerged with the mind of Banner and the body of the Hulk. This new Hulk had even gained a presidential pardon. Samson was then offered a place on the Avengers, but he turned them down, accepting a teaching position at Northwestern University instead. But when a newly savage Hulk was reported to be in the area, he decided to try and cure the Hulk once again. He succeeded in physically separating Bruce Banner and Hulk into two separate individuals. Banner was now free to live his life without the Hulk. Unfortunately, without Banner's subconscious, there was nothing left to rein the Hulk in, and he became a mindless savage. Back at Gamma Base, Banner formed his own team of Hulkbusters to take down and capture his separated alter ego. Samson joined up with them, still feeling responsible for the big green lug. However, it soon became clear that Bruce was not quite himself and needed the Hulk to survive. Samson realized that the two must be reunited again, or they would both die. With the help of the Avengers, the two were reintegrated and a new Hulk was born, one that now only manifested at night and was a distinct shade of grey. This new Hulk vanished for a while, but Samson was kept busy, curing third-string superhero Captain Ultra of his fear of fire, and giving a psychiatric evaluation of an alleged murderer called Crazy 8. She wasn't crazy. She knew right from wrong, and she was headed for the chair. Although Doc Samson was more than a little disturbed to find out afterwards that she had just reasons for the murder. When the Hulk reappeared, he was calling himself Joe Fixit. He had a home, a girlfriend, and a job as a Las Vegas mob enforcer. Thinking outside the box, Samson recruited the villain Ringmaster to hypnotize the Hulk and help reintegrate the fractured personalities. But in doing so, they created yet another one, the Professor, who once again had the Hulk's physical attributes as well as Banner's brain. In addition, this personality seemed to be stable. It was beginning to look like Samson had yet again done himself out of a job. Of course, this being the Marvel Universe, there were plenty of other superpowered patients for the Doctor to get his hands on. When S.H.I.E.L.D. caught the Punisher, Samson was sent in to lay some therapy on the man and see if they couldn't get him to lighten up by using an experimental drug. They regressed him to the time before his family were killed. Unfortunately, the criminal underworld bombed the place at a crucial stage of the treatment, allowing a temporarily insane Punisher to escape thinking Nick Fury had killed his family. In another tale of two-fisted psychiatry, Samson teamed up with Banner's cousin, She-Hulk, to help track down the gamma-powered serial killer Patchwork, who got his name from, well, it made Samson throw up when he found out, so let's just say he wasn't a nice person. With the help of Geiger, a gamma-powered woman who took on the characteristics of any gamma being in her vicinity, they managed to take down the serial killer. When Banner went on the run again, Samson was there trying to help him out. Even as an ex-Special Forces, ex-dead, ex-lover of his, Sandra Verdugo was trying to track down and capture the Hulk for a mysterious organization called Homebase. When Samson learned he was Ricky's father, he agreed to help her. He and Banner attempted to penetrate the security of Homebase, and Verdugo was briefly reunited with her son before the facility was destroyed and Ricky seemingly killed. Then an old family friend called on Samson for help, involving the supernatural, seeking the assistance of Doctor Strange. Samson was a little miffed when the Doctor palmed him off with a wannabe Sorcerer Supreme apprentice. However, him and Jack Hollyoak worked well together and helped rehabilitate a supernatural entity called the Living Totem through conventional therapy and magic, until he was well enough to go by his own name of Whistle Pig. When She-Hulk went on a rampage and needed to be brought down by the Avengers, Samson diagnosed her as suffering from mental blocks that hampered her transformation. Together with Reed Richards, he constructed a gamma changer that helped Jen to turn into She-Hulk when her mental blocks prevented her. Observing the mental strain under which many heroes struggled, Samson saw the need for these people to be licensed and regulated, and was one of the first to support the Superhuman Registration Act. Besides, someone had to do all that government-sponsored psych-evaluation work. It wasn't always easy, especially when She-Hulk started wavering on the morals of it all, and he grudgingly had to neutralize her powers on the orders of Tony Stark. He also served as therapist for Robert Baldwin, aka Speedball, the only surviving member of the New Warriors, whose actions helped precipitate the superhero civil war in the horrific Stamford incident. Now racked with guilt, He called himself Penance and could only activate his powers through self-harm. He seemed to make progress under Samson's guidance. After a cabal of heroes attempted to solve the Hulk problem by shooting him into space, they realized they'd got themselves a whole lot of problems when the Hulk arrived back. He was as mad as hell, blaming Earth's heroes for the destruction of the planet he had landed on, and he wasn't going to take it anymore. Not even Samson's vaunted friend status counted for anything in the face of Hulk's wrath, and it was up to the unstable superhero the Sentry to save the day. Later, when the Abomination turned up dead in Russia, coinciding with the appearance of a new Red Hulk, it seemed that Banner had developed a new Hulk personality. However, with Banner in S.H.I.E.L.D. captivity at the time, the suspicion of the Red Hulk's true identity fell on General Ross or Samson, and currently neither of them have spilt the beans. While in the wake of a secret Skrull invasion, when Samson cancelled heroes who had been kidnapped and replaced by the shape-changing aliens, Tony Stark fell out of favour, and Norman Osborn became the nation's hero. During an attempt to get the new US president to see what a nutjob Norman Osborn really was, Doc Samson was hit with a gamma emitter, causing him to lose control, and Hulk out, only for Osborn to save the president and frame Samson in the process. Osborn then issued a global arrest warrant for Doc Samson. But you know what they say, cometh the 50-minute hour, cometh the man. And it's certain that we haven't seen the last or the best of Doc Samson yet.